good, bro?
John Dutch was popping.
Same shit. What's good, my brother? How everything doing with you?
Everything's peace, man. Everything's peace. Thank you for getting on Strictly for My D.I.G.G.A.Z season 4, episode 8. You know what I mean?
Nah, you're all right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You know what? I came across you on IG actually. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I was just peeping the vibes, and I like what I was hearing and whatnot. You know what I mean? So I said, let me invite you on. You know what I'm saying? On this
Nah,
platform or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So where you checking in from?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Well, right now I'm in the Bronx, but I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I'm originally from Long Island or whatever, but I live in North Carolina, Charlotte.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, I got peoples down in Raleigh, so I'm down there, like, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
every couple months and shit.
Yeah. Oh, I see the vinyl in the. Is that vinyl I see in the back?
Yeah, that's all vinyl, everything, man. Everything vinyl.
Ooh.
I
Yeah, we
probably,
gonna
I
talk.
probably, I probably fill it out every 2 months. I fill it up, and then I probably like everything I don't like. I probably throw it away and then refill it again. You know what I'm saying? So every two, three
Right,
months
right,
or
right,
so.
right,
So
right,
we
right,
like,
right, right. So let me ask you a question. What are you banging out on?
right now
Mhm.
I'm using Ableton,
Mhm.
Ableton Live. I'm just using the Push 2.
Right.
I also use the got like a little small MIDI keyboard, and I have my turntable because I'm strictly doing vinyl right now. And
Hmm.
I slowly started introducing the Serato, the Pioneer DJ, because I'm doing everything backwards. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to produce, and then I'm learning how to DJ now. So I'm kind of, you know what I
Right,
mean,
right.
just
And you
trying to put
rhyme.
everything.
And
Yeah,
you
I
rhyme
started
too.
out
Yeah.
as a rapper, and then I'm
Okay.
kind of tradition.
So 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 what made you want to go into producing? Was it because you needed some beats, or that was just a natural progression?
Um, I mean, I started producing. I always knew that I could produce because
Hmm.
when I was a rapper, I used to be wanting to rap over the like dope instrumentals, but not just the instrumentals like that you could find in the store or find
Right.
on the internet. I used to go to like the my favorite albums and I go to the back of the song. You know what I mean? I get the
Mhm.
last 4 bars, that's 8 bars. So I started going into Cool Edit Pro and I started looping my own instrumentals. I have
Right.
instrumentals nobody else had.
Mhm.
So I figured out like, hey, I'm doing this 4 bars, 8 bars. I could like if I'm just finding one with drums, I could make a beat like this, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I kind of it was like
Right.
progression like that over the years, but I never really took it serious until recently, pretty much like the last 4 or 5 years. But I've been doing it for a while.
Right. So before the Ableton, what were you using like when you first started making beats?
That's pretty much like I
Hmm.
walk past a friend's beat machine and just like, oh, let me fuck with this real quick and I'll just
Hmm.
make a beat or a friend to
Hmm.
have Fruity Loop set up and I'll just fuck with
Hmm.
it for a while. But before Ableton, I wasn't really like serious about making beats at all.
Right. Now Ableton, is that a computer program? Because I'm not familiar with
Yeah.
Ableton. I've heard the name.
It's like a Fruity Loops or like a Pro Tools. It's just like a DAW. They call it like a digital audio workspace. It's like
Hmm.
a regular DAW. You can make beats. You can record audio in.
Hmm. Hmm. So basically, you wouldn't really rock with the hardware like the boxes, like the MPCs, the
Well,
machines.
the Ableton has its own. I guess like I don't
Hmm.
know which DAW is with the machine, but
Hmm.
Ableton has what's called the Push 2. It's really you
Hmm.
probably seen it before. It's like its own I
Hmm.
guess keyboard, kind of like an MPC, but it's not. They
So you
have the
can.
standalone version, but it's kind of just
Mhm.
like it goes to the Ableton Live. So I'm using the Push 2 right now for like my main,
Mhm.
in my main control, hardware.
Right. So you can bang out like on pads then, or you
Yeah,
using a
yeah,
mouse.
for sure.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
I had
Right.
64 pads and I had a whole bunch of shit.
Oh, okay. Right. Because I noticed like when banging out on pads, it feels like you're part of the beat. You know what I mean? Instead of the clicking and the dragging and all that. I never really used like computer based software. I was on MPC 2000 XL for like 20 something years, and I switched over to the MPC Studio, the silver one, which
Yeah.
has the pads. And you're looking at the screen and things like that. And so,
Yeah.
how's the workflow on the Ableton?
I like it because I'm able to do everything. Like when I make a beat, I don't like to do the same thing twice ever. Like not ever, but like on back to back beats or like this week or whatever. Like it allows me to chop and bang out the beats like you were saying manually, and it also allows me just to go in the box when I need to and just I just need to loop this here really easy.
Mhm.
So it allows me to be really versatile.
Right. So it's real. You can make beats quickly without a whole lot of putting in too much.
Yep.
manual labor as far as like if you're doing like certain things like the MPC and the other things. It took a lot to make a beat, but this is the workflow was quick and things like that. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
to me, it's a lot quicker, and I also can,
Mhm,
if I wanted, the old school MPC flow, I could also do that as well.
mhm, mhm,
So
mhm. Yeah, that's dope. So let's talk about the vinyl. Now you said you're only doing vinyl right now. Has it always been like that?
now maybe started like maybe it's a year and a half ago. Maybe I was chopping it up with my other producer homie VHS, and he was
Yes, I
telling me
heard of
like,
it. Yeah.
yeah, he was telling me my beats was dope, but he was like he think that I should, switch to vinyl. And at the time, I really didn't. I just had started, on my journey, so I really didn't care. It was like YouTube, vinyl, whatever. It's just a sample. But then I started trying it out, and I kind of
Mhm,
liked it because I was getting bored of just going on YouTube every day, getting the
mhm.
same algorithm, same samples as everybody else. So
Right.
they say like 60% or 80% of the vinyls from 1950 to 1970s is not on YouTube. So you know what I'm saying? I want to be different and get other shit and don't be in the same algorithm as everyone else. So I switched to the vinyls.
Because one thing I found with digging, because I started out with vinyl and things like that, but I didn't have any more room. You know, I mean, my house is, I got vinyl under the sink, I got vinyl on the top, all over the place in the bathtub, things like that. So I started doing the YouTube thing as well. So what do you keep? I mean, I know you're constantly collecting, correct?
I do, and then I keep only the stuff that I really like. If I know that I'm absolutely probably not going to use it, I put it in a file and I put it in a
Mm-hmm.
stack them up and just give them away, make room so I could get some more. Because I
Mm.
know it takes up a lot of space. I'm not trying to
It
be
does. It
doing
does.
this
It takes
for
a lot of space.
decades and decades, collecting thousands and thousands. So I just keep what I need.
Right. Now, do you find it easier? Like I noticed like with finding samples is probably easier with the vinyl because you go into the store, you're looking, you're digging, you know, like what do you go by? You go by the cover or do you just you know what you want?
Well, I don't go by the cover or like
Mm,
sometimes I see like a name I want and I'd be like, okay, I want that name, but I kind of look at it like it's a surprise, like it's a game, you know what I'm saying?
right,
So
right.
if I know what I want to sample, it's not fun anymore. I just like to look at the cover, look at potential, and then when I get home,
Mhm.
it's like an exciting game, and I go through all my vinyls, and it's like it just keeps me busy, like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and I missed that because like sampling off YouTube, you're typing in Russian soul and you're trying to, you know what I mean? Whereas like the vinyl, you're touching the vinyl, you're looking at the back cover, you're looking at the cover, you're looking at the year that, you know, it came out or whatever. And like you said, it's a surprise, you
Yeah.
know. And I like the dollar crates. What about you? What do you dig in the dollar crates or you spend a lot more for records?
I do both. Like I go to A1 Rec. I got like every record shop in the city. They know me. They know my face. They know what I
Mhm,
do. A1 Records, Lower East Side. I go over there. I go to the Dollar Crate.
mhm,
Um, I go to Village Records. My man Jamal. I go to the I only look for soundtracks over there, so those a little bit more.
mhm,
But I do Dollar Crates. I do very expensive records.
mhm,
I got a completely Japanese store in Williamsburg called Face Records. They get
mhm,
all their vinyl from Japan, and that's my man Yuiji. So I go over there. Those records are pretty expensive, but they got
mhm,
shit that nobody else has. So I'm back and forth. I'm just trying to get whatever nobody else has. If it's in a dollar,
mhm.
then if it's what I mean, wherever, I'm just trying to get it.
So what's the most you would spend on a record?
That's the thing. I don't really spend that much, but the amount of records that I get normally, I normally try to
Mhm,
get like maybe 50, 75 every time I'm coming out. So,
mm,
if the records are costing like $20, $50, you know what I'm saying? I try not to go above 100, you know what I'm saying? But I know
yeah,
there are records that cost a couple hundred or whatever, but
mhm,
I'm looking for sounds and different samples. So I can't
yeah.
really, go through records like that, look for records like that.
Right, right. So when you go record digging, do you bring like a turntable? Or you not well, you did say you like the surprise, so you probably don't bring a
Yeah.
turntable with you.
Nah.
So how do you know I'm buying this record?
You said, how do I know?
Yeah, how do you know to buy that record? Or is it like, hey, I'm just gonna check it out, I'm just gonna take a chance with it?
Yeah, that's what I do. I'll just take a
Mm,
chance and be like, I like something about it. Either
mhm,
I like the cover, I like the color,
mhm,
something about the cover is artistic, or make me feel, similar to the way I want to feel, and then I just get it. It don't have. I
Right,
don't care about the genre or anything. It's just like, oh, that
right.
looks dope, man. Let me get that.
So when you go to the record store, you don't have a certain genre that you head to first.
No, lately I've been doing soundtracks, but that's
Mhm.
like really no genre because that's a whole. That could be anything. But
Yeah. So what is it
lately,
about soundtracks? Usually with soundtracks, they have like a bigger sound from my experience. With soundtracks, is that what is that what it is?
yeah, I think so. Plus, a lot of people lately I've been saying that my sound sounds a little cinematic or whatever. So
Mhm,
I guess that's the reason. But I like soundtracks because they have a variety of different artists.
mhm,
Sometimes you have a composer instead of artists, and sometimes the
mhm.
vibe of the movie, the composer can he has that in the vinyl. So that's why it's just a little bit different than just sampling like a '60s or a soul record. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. Now, what about 45s? You rock with those too?
I do have a few, but I haven't really dived into it. Like I have like a stack of like
Hmm.
James Brown 45s I just came up on, but I haven't really dived into the 45s like I should.
Right, right, right. Because one thing I know is to listen to your beats, you got this like this player vibe with your beats. Like I see a lot. I listen to it's like you on that. Like I can see why you and the Mussolini had kind of linked up. You know what I mean? Because I've listened. I'm like, yo, he got this like real smooth player vibe. Is that the sound you go for?
Uh not not really. I think that's just what I was doing to kind of cater to Mussolini a little bit,
Hmm. Hmm.
and those are the beats. Pretty much, I make a different type of beat, so those are
Hmm.
pretty much probably the beats that he picked. Because I do make player beats, I make all type of beats, but those are probably
Hmm.
just the ones that he picked. So yeah, to answer your question, I don't really try to make a player vibe, but I do have
Right,
player vibe
right,
beats, and it's
right.
just what he picked.
So right now, 100% of all your sounds is coming off vinyl.
Yeah, I would say like the majority of the songs come off of
Mhm.
vinyls. I do like maybe I have like some packs that I bought or maybe a long time ago, and I take those sounds and manipulate them and like make them go around the samples that I have and stuff like that, so that you can't tell where it came from or it doesn't sound like the original sound. So
Right.
occasionally I'll do that, but like pretty much sometimes I'll just use all vinyls. Like I'll just get different sounds from the vinyl as well.
Hmm. So when it comes to like your BPMs, do you have a sweet spot with your BPMs that you stick with any range?
Nah, because like I was saying, I don't really like to do the same thing twice,
Hmm.
especially in a row. So I kind of like try to do something different. So if I'm doing like 75 this beat, the next beat I might do in double time, but not 150, which would be double time. I'll do like 140 or 175. I'll just try to, always
Hmm.
try to switch it up and see, what I can do with that.
Right. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Because I know it's nowadays, if you notice, the beats are becoming a lot slower.
Yeah,
People are making beats in like the 75 range, 80 something range. It's not like the 90s, you know what I mean, or
yeah,
the late
where BPM was like in the 85s to 92s. Yeah,
right,
you're right.
right, right, right. Because people are not rhyming like King, the man, the hand, the groove, the groove. They're not rhyming fast like that. And I'm nowadays favoring slower beats because the artist can he can express himself a lot better, and you can hear every word that he's saying and things like that. That's what I like about the slower beats. I know my range is usually between like 75 and maybe like 89 nowadays. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So double time. So with double time, it's a lot faster, is what you say, or
Not necessarily.
mhm,
It's supposed to be used as faster. I guess you would say like the tempo is faster, but
right.
you can make a 75 BPM beat sound exactly like a 150 BPM beat. The only difference to me is that you have more options, more opportunities to place your kicks and your hi-hats because the
Mhm,
the the 4 bar loop looks like an 8 bar loop. You know what I mean? Like when it's
mhm.
double time, but it's really the
Right,
same thing. So
right,
you
right,
could just more possibilities. So that's why I like to do that.
right. So when you start your beats, what do you start with a 2 bar, 4 bar, 8 bar? How does that work?
I don't start with anything. Like sometimes
Mhm,
I'll start with a 16 bar sample and I'll chop it up from there. Sometimes I'll start with a 2 bar sample and I'll turn it into an 8 bar or 4 bar.
mhm,
I really don't have like a template. Like I don't start with the sample all the time. I do maybe like 60% of the time, but the other
mhm.
40% I'll start with the drums. And I
Right,
rarely do that though. And sometimes I start with the hi-hats. I'll just start with something different every time.
Right, right, right. Now with the drums, what do you? Your drums are coming off record. I take it too, right? The or
I
vinyl.
do.
Right?
I get it from all over. Like I do have vinyls. I've been like lately Barry White. I've been taking the drums off of Barry White's like joints. He has some really dope
Yeah, yeah. You got some
modern
dope.
drums. Like if you listen to his drums and you put
Mhm.
them at the right tempo, it just sounds
Right.
like the hip hop. You know what I mean? So I've been taking a lot from Barry White, but I've been doing everything. You know what I mean? Like I've been taking advantage for like the last 2-3 years of stems. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I'll take like a real song that I used to love as you know what I mean growing up, and I'll just take
Hmm.
the drum and then I'll just like play with it. You know what I mean? I'll add drums to it to make it sound full, or I might just use the stems, take those drums, and just chop them up. You know what I mean? My own pattern or whatever. So
Right
it's
now,
like the
do you?
possibilities is endless right now. I just do whatever sounds dope.
Right, 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 right. So, do you ever just loop the drum pattern without
Um,
chopping it up? If it sounds ill, just just loop that joint.
some I do that occasionally, but I like to change something. Like I know,
Mm-hmm.
like we might think when we put the drum loop there, it sounds perfect, but I try to like I might put it down, then I transpose it like down
Hmm.
2, and then see like how this sound. Then I'll transpose it down 3, then I'll just keep on fucking with it. You know what I mean? See like
Right, right, right,
what sounds the best. You know what I mean?
right, right. Yeah. So, judging from what you're saying, you're more of a feeling producer. You're not really technical like that. You just go by what you feel and what sounds good.
Yeah, pretty much I would say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I noticed a lot of the technical dudes, those are the ones that they put out the beat kits, you know what I mean, the tutorials and things like that. But a lot of their beats are so technical, don't have that feeling, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah,
they,
for sure.
but you can learn technical little tips and tricks from them. But a lot of their beats be like, you know what I'm saying? They don't be sounding all of that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you making your beats, like how many tracks does it take to make a beat on
Oh,
average?
it depends. Sometimes it could be one track, you know what I mean? Like
Mm,
sometimes it could be
mm,
on average, I would say about 6 or 7, but that's
mhm.
not the limit. Sometimes it could be 15 to 20, depending on what I'm trying to do.
Right,
But I do try to keep it, I try to do a more minimalistic style. So I try to don't like add that much sounds and shit to it.
right, 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 right. And so are you against like the drumless beats nowadays, or everything has to have drums in your beats?
Nah, I make drumless beats. A lot of the beats I made that people like most of the intros for everybody's project. I do a lot of joint project with different artists. Like I do drumless beats. I do ones with drums. It really doesn't matter to me as long as it sounds dope. At the end of the day, I was a rapper first, so
Right.
my idea is like as long as it's dope and somebody can rap to it, then it is what it is.
Mm. Right, right, right. Now the bass lines, are you playing that? Because I know you said you're the keyboard. Are you playing that off a keyboard, or are you filtering out a bass line?
Uh, Again, I do both. I filter it sometimes.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll take completely different instruments, like
Mhm.
instruments you wouldn't even think was a bass. I'll take a saxophone, then I'll
Mm.
EQ it and take all the highs out of the saxophone, and then you'll just have the bass. So it'll sound like something that it'll sound like a bass, but you wouldn't think it was a bass. And then I'll take that and put that in the MIDI, and then I'll play that as the bass
Oh,
line like myself. So it's
right,
just
right.
different techniques, and again, I'll just try to not do the same thing. So if I do that, you know what I mean, I'll try next track. I might do stems and take a drum line from another
Mhm.
track, and then it's not gonna match. So then I'll transpose it and make sure it matches the keys and the, you know what I mean. So I'll just do a lot of different things.
Right, right. So let me ask you, what is in your opinion, and just in your honest opinion, what is the hardest part about making beats? What do you feel your weaknesses right now when it comes to beat making?
Um,
Like mine is bass lines. I'm not good with bass lines.
my weakest point. I would say maybe it's the drums, but I think
Mhm.
like I just try so many things. I think everything else comes easy. What I'm trying to say, like the samples, it comes a
Mhm.
little bit easier. But then when I come to the drums, I'm always like second guessing myself. So I'll lay some drums down,
Mhm.
and it might sound fire, but then I'll just erase those and I'll do it again,
Mhm.
and I'll think about it, then I'll erase them again. So I think I second guess myself more when it comes like to drums.
Mm. Yeah, that's why, like with me, drums, I wasn't one to be finger drumming. You know what I mean? Because after a while, that boom, boom, doom, doom, it got like boring to me. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like finding like break beats, and I would try to chop them up and play it back, or sometimes just loop the whole thing and use their rhythm. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Give it that. And I noticed my beats had a different hop to it than me just doom, doom, the doom, because I'm not a drummer. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not a drummer at all. So I had a lot of, I think drums, that was one of my issues too. So I started like saying, you know what, I'm just going to loop these drums, or I'm going to chop this drum break up and play it back how I want to play it. You know what I'm saying? And it gives it a whole different hop and things like that. So for me, it's also bass lines, you know what I mean? And making it really match the sample. Now, how do you do that? How do you make it like match the sample though?
Like if you make a beat, let's say without a bass line, you just do the drum sample, whatever. This it's gonna have a key. Like
Mm-hmm.
so, it's gonna be I don't like whatever key it's in. So sometimes I'll go to any song like that I think has a pretty dope bass line, and I'll just go to stems.
Mm-hmm.
Stems. You have the option. You could take the drums, you could take the melody, or you could take the bass like
Mm-hmm.
completely out. So I'll just take the bass and I'll play with it. I'll just put it
Mm-hmm.
in another track under the track, and I'll just transpose it until it matches the key. And then you know what
Right.
I mean? Like I'll turn it down. It might be like -24 or something. It might be
Mm-hmm.
+7. Like I'll just keep on, listening, and
Mm-hmm.
eventually it'll match. Sometimes it won't, but a lot of times it will. So that's just another trick I picked up. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. A lot of my OGs, they don't be like to give out tips. You know what I mean? They be acting like this
Yeah.
is a secret society and shit. Like
Right.
nobody know
Yeah.
what the fuck they doing. I really don't care because I probably switch it up by the time I tell you what I'm doing anyway. So
Right. Because it's all experimental anyway. You know what I mean? When you sit down making a beat, it's all experimental. It's all going off of feeling and things like that. And there's no really right or wrong way. You know what I mean? I know what you mean. A lot of people want to give out tips and tricks, and they try to keep things a secret. But we're all sampling. You know what I mean? We're all pretty much sampling. You know what I'm
pretty
saying?
much.
And things like that. So I know you say the word chop a lot. Do you ever just loop a sample, or do you have to
I do.
chop up everything?
Now I like the loop samples too, but it's like I'm very specific. I don't want to sound like anybody or bite from anybody. So if I know that someone else uses a sample and it's like a popular loop,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna use that. It just doesn't make any
Right,
sense to
right,
me. Like that's that
right,
person's loop. I know it's not technically that person's loop, but
right,
that's what they use.
right.
Why am I gonna use that? So I don't like to do things like that. And if I do, use a popular song or a good sample that somebody else used, I try to, do it in a different way. So it
Doing it a
sounds
different way.
completely
Right,
different.
right. Cool. So what you're saying, if you find a sample like Derringer used, you really wouldn't touch it unless you know you could flip it differently and make it almost unrecognizable from his.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I'll use, like I said, I like to answer your question. I'll use loops, like if it's like
Mhm.
from like one of my Japanese Asian vinyls from, and from some
Right,
soundtrack, and I know nobody never heard this. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna use
right,
this shit. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So
right, right.
it just depends.
Because I noticed the music is going back to loops. Because you remember, like DJ Premier, they would take a stab from here and there, and it had that choppy feel. But I notice now it's more so like as a producer nowadays, you're not really showing off your quote unquote skill. You're showing off your ear. You know what I mean? You can find the fly shit for the MC to rhyme to. It's not
Yeah,
necessarily about, oh, I took this beat and I chopped it here, and then I grabbed this record and I took a part from this record and I grabbed this little part here and put it together. And you know what I mean? I don't see that in this day and time. I see a lot of times as people are just snatching loops. It could be from an obscure record. Because if you think about it, like the majority of people who listen to your music, the fans don't even know where the sample's from anyway.
that's true.
You
It's
know?
only the producers, pretty much.
Right. And that's critiquing each other. But I tell everybody, I don't make beats for other producers to like. I make beats for the MCs and people who like instrumentals. You know, I'm not trying to impress this producer, because this producer is not going to buy the work for the most part. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah, I don't produce for them, for them or whatever. I produce for like people who really don't know anything about making beats.
Yeah.
So the average
Yo.
what sample it is, unless they just have a vast knowledge, of music like that. So like I said, I just noticed is getting back to like sample, looping shit. They loop shit. But and I think we could have to blame Rock Marciano for that, as far as like him looping shit that's like not even supposed to be looped, just doing shit that's like irregular. You know what I mean? I think that's
Yeah.
really dope right there. So let's
I'll
get
fuck
into
with that
get
too. I
into
think that
yeah,
like to add
yeah,
on to what you were saying,
yeah.
I think that like hip hop always evolves. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing like the loop thing too, and then what I try to do is take some elements like back from what other people used to do, like just taking like multiple loops, like and what I was telling you about like the bass thing where I transpose it. I'll take multiple loops and just transpose them
Right.
so that they match. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
it's still loops. I just overlay them on top of each other. So I think people producers will keep doing this, and then we'll evolve, and it'll be something else, or
Right,
they'll
right,
take this
right,
to the
right.
next level. So I can't wait.
Absolutely. So, because that's I was asking this other producer, like with digging for records, right? Because the game moves fast now. You know what I mean? People put out music at rapid speed. How do it's like the digging in the crates? That takes a lot of time to have to dig for the record, listen to the, you know what I mean? And I notice people are using like packs now and whatnot. Do you find that with you now digging with records, it slowed down your process of getting the beats, making more beats than maybe you did before?
No, because I think that buying one record is
Mm-hmm.
has more sounds than a pack. So I'm getting 100 records now. So you know what I mean. I'm getting way more sounds than I would if I was getting packs, and they're more original. Like everybody, I mean, people
Mm-hmm.
do have the same vinyls, but all the producers aren't buying every vinyl I have, but they're buying every pack. You know what I mean? You're definitely like
Right.
100, more than 100 producers is buying that pack. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know. I think I don't think I'm losing out or it's wasting my time.
Right.
Searching for vinyls.
Right. Right. Because I'm just wondering, do you think sampling will eventually evolve where we're not sampling all vinyl, we're sampling, other sources?
That could happen. I guess when producers evolve, they'll
Mm-hmm.
discover something called sound manipulation, and
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much where you can turn any sound into anything. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
so, like you could turn a baby screaming into a kick drum if you want to. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Because do you think sample clearances has kind of like hindered sample based producers nowadays?
nowadays, no, because I don't think that most people clear samples. They just throw it out like whatever. If they sue me, then that means I did something good. I made some money. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. Right. You made
most
some
people
money.
is we're getting like 1,000 under 10,000 streams. Nobody's gonna come sue you. So you know what I mean,
Right.
like I don't think it's hindering people. I think people are right now are just putting out the music. Like I think before, like in the '90s when people had record labels, it was kind of hindering people because they weren't doing everything that they could. But now I think
Mhm.
that they're just throwing it out there, even if it doesn't make any money because they don't
Right.
care.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on what artists you're working with. Now if you're working with a Kanye West,
Yeah, of
now
course.
that might be a whole different thing.
Yeah.
So moving on let's talk about the science of like selling beats and things like that. Would you ever have like a BeatStars page and just sell like lease beats out? How do you feel about producers who do that?
Um, I mean the game has changed, so it's a little harder to eat. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't knock them for trying to do that. They're just trying to figure out the hustle and figure a way to get some money out of this. So if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. I'm not really a fan of being like, oh, I make this type beats and all that. Like I don't really really agree with that, but I don't disagree, man. I don't knock the hustle, whatever they got to do.
Yeah, because one thing with the BeatStar things, it's like any old body can buy your beat, whether they trash or not. You're selling the beat for like what, $100 or whatever. And like I said, there's different types of beat makers. You got the feeling producers who are making beats and they're in the world like you, actually connecting with artists. Then you got the technical producers. They're selling the kits, the drums. They're making tutorials. And then you got the beat star guys who are just making beats and here, you put it in your cart. It's like, hurry up and buy. You know what I mean? Put it in the cart, boom. Whatever you do with it, it is what it is, whether you suck or not. Hey, I made some money, you know
Yeah.
and things like that. So as I wasn't really a fan of the whole, beat stars and just making beats and just
I
anyone
mean,
can do
but
whatever.
you have to think about it like this though. Like
Mhm,
I have a lot of rappers. They hit my DMs.
mhm.
They want beats from me. I
Right.
tell them, I spend money on my records. Like they have
Mhm,
to get paid something for my beats. So I tell them my price, and they're like they can't afford that right now, or they'll come back, or they expect me to do it for free or whatever.
mhm,
But that's cool, I guess. And in those occasions, I could set up a B Star page for like my
mhm,
beats that I would never use or never shop to anybody, and just be like, okay, well,
mhm,
if you can't afford what I'm saying, here goes some, $100 beats I got on B Star that you could check out if you
mhm.
really fuck with my beats. I guess it could be used as that way, but yeah, I haven't set up a B Star.
Because I wonder how that works. So when they buy the beat, is their beat, but what if that song they take it to another country? Let's say it becomes a mega hit. That producer loses out.
Nah, they have like when you buy the beat, it's like an agreement. So
Mhm.
that would be on you to write your agreement saying that. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like, oh,
right,
you some leases could be like, oh, you're leasing it up to 100,000 plays. If it gets over 100,000 plays, you got to renegotiate or some shit like that. So it's just in the
right,
contract that they sign when they buy the beat, and all of them have it. Like you have to agree on it, check on it before you check out. So
right.
that's on you.
All right. So do you prefer selling beats or do you prefer to get with the artist, do the splits and the streams? What's your preferred method?
Right now, well, let me say like last year, like the last couple years, I was
Mhm,
just giving them away. But then I needed 50% of the streams, like
mhm,
of the song, and I also needed my 100% of my publishing pie on the back end. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing that. You know what I mean? If the artist is talented, I'll definitely do that. If not, then I don't really like people hit me up sometimes, but if I don't really like the music that you're making, I
mhm.
don't really feel forced to have to sell. Like I'm
Right.
not really,
You have
using
the
my
integrity behind it. Yeah.
yeah. Plus, I'm not starving. I really don't like
Mhm,
need it. You know what I mean? Like I see if I was on my grind and I just needed it right now, then that's all I had. Then definitely, that's why I respect the producers doing what they have to do. But I don't feel like I have to do that, so I only want to work with who I want to work with.
right, right. So when you say giving away, now you when you were giving this away, giving your beats away, was it more so to get your name out there?
Nah, it's just because I figured that it's a different type of game right now. So like I don't think I'm losing out by I'm still getting my 100% on the back end.
Hmm.
But I think that if I like, you know, I'm gonna give 50, like say if I give away my beats for free and I charge 50% of the whatever the streams,
Hmm.
I'm gonna get way more beats or way more placements than if I tried to sell a beat for $1,000 right now. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I just figure like it might not be making more money right now in the short term, but in the long term, I think that it possibly could make more money, especially if I have a bunch of those going. So I was doing that for the last couple of years.
So when you're doing that, you had an actual contract drawn up and that they would have to sign before they even got the beat. How did that? Or
I
was it on
mean,
a
no,
handshake?
I'll give them the beat, but like I have to approve it before you release it, and if not,
Hmm.
I like pretty much if somebody releases some of your material, if you copyright it without your permission, then you could own 100% of that. So I mean, they
Hmm.
could go that route if they want to. Like,
Right, right, right. All right. So you give the beat, you know what I mean, and they can't release it. So even though we're sampling, how do you copyright the beat? Even though we're sampling other people's music.
I mean, it could clear the sample. That's pretty easy to do.
Hmm. Gotcha,
Just
gotcha.
I'm pretty much just copywriting the composition. You know what I mean? Like how I laid
Mhm.
the beat down. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Ah, I did, because I was wondering how do you copyright, a beat that's sampled? We're
Yeah,
sampling, obviously, sample. How do you copyright that where another
yeah.
artist can't take
It's
it
just
and use
it's
it in
just
something?
copywriting your composition. Like nobody
Mhm,
put those type of drums behind that sample at that pitch. So like I did
mhm,
this. You know what I'm saying? So
mhm.
it's a little different.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, cool. So there's no paperwork involved. Like here, sign this. I get 50% of the streams.
Um, I mean, yeah, I do sign a split sheet like before they
Mhm,
release it, or we sign a
mhm.
50-50 split sheet, and that's what my split sheet
Right.
says. That you're gonna split the streams 50-50, and then since you're writing the song, you get 100% of the
Mhm,
performance, the vocals, and I get 100% of my production pod. So because it's 200% like on the back end.
Right,
So
right, right,
that's
right. So, because you produced the whole album for the Mussolini, correct?
correct.
All right. So, did y'all have a relationship before that, or?
Well, this is the second one that we did. We just released
Right.
Gentleman Leisure 2.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, last year released Gentleman Leisure 1, and we started working together because my good friend Risk Taker introduced us, and
Right.
I had my own studio in Midtown, and they just started coming through to record, and then before you know it, we just had a working relationship, and we just did a couple projects together.
Right. 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 And y'all just split the streams and things like that, and and I guess the vinyl or anything physical or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. That was our deal. Like we just gonna split everything 50-50. Like you pay
Okay.
for half of the video, we pay for half of the mixing, and pay for
Mm-hmm.
half of the promotion, and then we split the profit 50-50.
So,
So
are you making beats full time, or is this something you're doing part time right now?
I guess you could say full time. I think I make enough beats to be considered as full time, although like
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing other things too.
Right. 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 Gotcha. 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 But listen, man, yo, it was great chopping it up with you. You know what I'm saying? I like what you were doing. I had to get you on the check-in or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you having me, definitely. And I'm gonna stay on the lookout. You know what I mean? I checked your page, I see what you was working on, you know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Definitely fire. You want to work, you know what I'm saying? Let me know, man. I'm still rapping
Oh
too,
yeah.
man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. 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 Yo, next time you say you be in North Carolina all the time, right? A lot of times, right?
Yeah, my family from the Raleigh area, Raleigh
Oh yeah,
Durham
yeah.
area, so I'm always over there. And I got a couple friends in Charlotte. My homie
Mhm.
Detroit Red, he's out in Charlotte. I got him a couple placements for Nipsey Hussle, you know what I mean, 50
Mhm.
Cent. So he's out in Charlotte. So I definitely gotta go check my boy Detroit Red. And when I go out
Oh,
there,
yeah.
I hit you up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely hit me up. But before you go, shout out to tell everybody where they can hear your music, give them your links, your IG links, everything, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, John Dutch, artist name, producer names, Spotify, Apple. Just type in John Dutch, Instagram, OG Johnny Dutch, OGJOHNNYDUTCH, and yeah, you could check out everything from there. All my links and everything is on my Instagram.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to thank you once again for being on the check-in, you know what I mean? And let's keep in touch.
Definitely appreciate you, brother.
All
See
right,
you.
peace.
I don't work for Marshalls. I don't pump no gas for no motherfucker. I don't do construction work. I don't do none of that shit on the side. I put all my chips into this hip hop shit, into this production shit. So at the end of the day, I want niggas to respect that shit. And respect that shit like how they respect going inside of Ralphie. They buy their clothes, because you can't negotiate with Ralphie, can you? Nope. Alright, you can't negotiate with what's the other, Dior. You can't negotiate with them niggas. You can't negotiate with none of these niggas. You can't negotiate with Pharrell, can you? Nope. Don't play that shit with me. That's all I'm trying to say. No hate. Excuse my passion. I just feel passionate about that, and I'm speaking for other cats because there's other producers that feel the same way. And it's just that it's a respect level. It's like, I feed my kid with this shit. I pay my rent with this shit.